In this lesson, we will learn the passive voice with modal verbs. Modal verbs are like must, have to, should, can, cannot, could, and could not. And I have 3 goals in this lesson. I want to teach you how to break down sentences. And the second goal is I will help you identify the passive voice. And the third one, I will help you change sentences from active voice to passive voice. Let's start with goal number 1. Let's help you break down sentences. First things first, what does break down mean? Break down is what we call in Arabic إعراب. لما نعرب الجملة, we break it down. Let's take a look at this example. You should buy a new car. You should buy a new car. In this sentence, who should buy a new car? You. So you is the subject. The second question, what should you do? You should buy. Should buy is the verb in this sentence, is the action. So you is the subject, should buy is the verb, and new car is the object, the receiver of the action. So in every sentence we have a subject, a verb, and an object. And obviously you have already done this activity before, but let's take a quick revision, and I want you to identify the subject, the verb, and the object in these 3 sentences. Sentence number 1. You are absolutely right. You is the subject, must work is the verb, at the office is the object, the receiver of the action. Sentence number 2. You are definitely right. We is the subject, have to eat is the verb, dinner is the object, the receiver of the action. Sentence number 3. We is the subject, will change is the verb, the windows is the object. Alright, now let's change active voice sentences into passive to understand how they work. We must work at the office. We know what the subject, the verb, and the object in this sentence. And this is a sentence in the active voice. Let's change it into a passive sentence. To change a sentence from active to passive, we should ask ourselves what should happen to the object, or what must happen to the object. Where is the object? The office. What must happen to the office? If you ask yourself this question, you will come up with a passive voice sentence. What must happen to the office? The office must be worked at. The office must be worked at is a sentence in the passive voice. The second sentence, what has to happen for dinner? Dinner has to be eaten before we leave. So we change the sentence from active voice into passive voice. The last sentence, what will happen to the windows? Correct. The windows will be changed. This is a sentence in the passive voice. Now that we understand the meaning of it, let's take a look at the form. Let's break down the passive sentence. It starts with the object, and then the modal verb, if it's should, must, will, whatever. After the modal, always comes be. Must be, has to be, will be. So basically the passive voice sentence includes the object and the verb. After that, all the verbs are in the past participle. Verb 3, the office must be worked at. Dinner has to be eaten. Notice we didn't say ate, verb 2, we said eaten, past participle, verb 3. And the last one, will be changed. Changed is a verb in the past participle, verb 3. Now it is your turn to change sentences from active into passive. We must finish the homework before Monday. So, to change the sentences, follow the same steps that we studied. Find the subject, the verb, the object. Step number 2, ask yourself what must happen to the object, and you will come up with a passive voice sentence. So, step number 1, where is the subject? We is the subject. That's definitely correct. And the verb is must finish, for sure. We is the subject, the doer, must finish is the verb, and the object, the receiver of the action. What must we finish? The homework is the object. That's absolutely correct. Now that we have done step number 1, let's take a look at step number 2 and ask ourselves, what must happen to the object? What must happen to the homework? The homework must be finished by Monday, for sure. That's correct. Sentence number 2, we have to clean up the classroom by Wednesday. Let's follow the steps. Step number 1, find the subject, the verb, and the object. Where is the subject? We is the subject. Must clean up is the verb, and the object is the classroom, for sure. Step number 2, what must happen to the classroom? Definitely, the classroom must be cleaned up by Wednesday, for sure. That's the correct way to change sentences from active into passive voice. Now that we understand how to change sentences from active into passive, let's do an activity that is similar to the final exam questions. You have 10 active sentences, and you have to choose the correct passive voice sentence. You have 5 minutes to do the activity. Make sure that you set up your timer and be ready. And I hope you will get it done in time.
Do the activity in the booklet, then compare your answers to the model answer.